welcome on into the Sporty Show. A pleasure to have you joining us as always. I'm your host, Sarah Pararia, and what a day of football we had yesterday. It was ties all around. We'll get into those games as well as the North London Derby is this evening. We're very excited for that one. Let me introduce to you the one, the only, Mr. KlintonCod.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? It's a beautiful day, another day of football as usual. But let me also introduce Alex Ashmore. Alex, what's up? What's going on?
It's good. It's a cold day here in Madrid, but lots of football to talk about. Exciting night of Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga, even more exciting stuff going on tonight, and lots to look forward to this weekend as well.
Absolutely. Guys, a friendly reminder to all of you that Sporty FM has launched in Ghana, so make sure you're checking out Mr. Gary Al Smith over there and all the work he has been up to. We're so excited for this venture. So all of you back in Ghana, check that out. Here's what's coming up on Sporty TV, this week for football. This evening, we have Bayern Munich taking on Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga. Tomorrow sees Al Ittihad versus Al Raid. Real Madrid versus Olympiacos in the EuroLeague basketball. Friday, we have Western versus Central Coast. Al Tawoun versus Al Nasser, as well as Burnley and Sunderland. Saturday, Adelaide United versus Melbourne. Cardiff City versus Swansea. And in the Premier League, it's Brentford versus Liverpool. In the Bundesliga, again, we have Leverkusen versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. Aris versus PAOK in the Greek Super League, and we'll finish it off with La Liga with Valencia taking on Real Sociedad. Lots and lots of football, as always. Let's quickly look at what happened yesterday, though, because as I mentioned, we had draws all around. The only two teams to win yesterday was Milan beating Como after going down 1-0, and West Ham beating Fulham. Alex, new manager bounce.
Yes, Graham Potter, after, quite a substantial amount of time out of the job, he's back in another London team, and I'm glad for him. I think he'll do a good job at West Ham. He's got the disposable income there, or he's got the players to build a good squad, and I think he's got the money to sign players and strengthen that squad. And I don't think the worry for West Ham was relegation this season, but I think now they can relax a bit and just, focus on improving and, maybe finishing inside that top half. You never know.
You never know. Well, Nottingham Forest did draw with Liverpool, so they're still undefeated to Liverpool here. Clinton, you said that if Nottingham Forest even get a draw in this one, that's still a victory for them.
Well, you could see the reaction of the owner of Nottingham Forest just after the game. He could tell you that, it's literally...
He was loving it, wasn't he?
He literally stood at the door and he was, shaking every single player that was coming out from the tunnel. And going through the tunnel out of the pitch. But listen, fact is, right now, it's safe to say that Nottingham Forest, they are better than the best team in the Premier League. If the best team in the Premier League, they've not had a win over them since the season has started. So if they've faced them twice, and Nottingham Forest has been able to get a win from them, and then the result, mind you, the first win was in Anfield.
Yeah.
So that's a very
Makes
massive
it
deal.
even more impressive.
Very, very impressive. And if they are coming to Nottingham Forest and they are not able to still get a win, Nottingham Forest did take the lead. I felt like Nottingham Forest literally just said to them, I think it's going to be too disgraceful to know that this Nottingham Forest side have been battling relegation, the last two or couple of seasons.
They've been in League One, the third division of English football in the last 15 years.
Well, exactly. So that's to tell you that right now, that draw is as good as a win for them. So I think we need to give them what the due credit that they deserve. It's a very big deal.
Chris Wood on the board again, 13 goals for him. He's really climbing the ladder here in the Premier League. But Forest, as it stands, are 6 points behind Liverpool in second place, but Liverpool do have a game in hand. But listen, Forest, they're looking brilliant, and all the credit is there.
I can hear, and I know Forest fans won't appreciate me for saying this, but I can hear Claudio Ranieri saying 40 points when Leicester were going quite far at the top of the table. And I don't think they'll win the league, but it's brilliant to see a club like that, who historically are a massive club. They've won 2 European Cups. They are one of the, sleeping giants of English football, and it's brilliant to see them doing well. It's nice to see another team up there as well. I like to see the competition. I like to see the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea get challenged, because in a way, it does get boring if the same teams win all the time. So, no, props to them, and the job that Nuno Espirito Santo is doing there is fantastic, and plaudits to him.
Clinton, are Liverpool crumbling?
I think they're not really crumbling. They're just crumbling to Nottingham Forest, because clearly Nottingham Forest, they're just that team that have somehow decoded them. So they know, the Nigerian man would say, they know how they hold their Fosiki, and right now, apart from Nottingham Forest, I think Liverpool, they are pretty much decent to every other team. I mean, when we look at how many losses does Liverpool have this season?
Just the one.
Exactly.
In the league, just the one.
Two
Just in the
across
league.
all comps. But
So-
they did draw United, and they did lose their first leg of the Carabao Cup to
Yeah,
Spurs.
so let's just look at just the Premier League for now. So they've only just had one loss, and that's obviously to Nottingham Forest. So that's the reason why I feel, because the truth is, we've got to understand that these different games come with different atmosphere, it comes with different spirits. We've said it so many times on the show that there are teams that you would not expect them, or you would look at them and be like, nah, they are not good enough. But when it's Champions League football, somehow they kind of like wake up, and you see them displaying a certain way. They go back to their league and they go back to normal again. So let's see it as Liverpool. They are that team that, when it comes to that Premier League football, they are very good. They've not lost to anybody. A draw is still not a loss. They were able to take a point there. And Nottingham Forest, they've just been the only team that have been able to take 3 points out from Liverpool. So they are still the best. But Nottingham Forest can hit their chest to say, you are not our best. You are the best, but not to us.
Yeah.
You can say you are the best to the rest of them, but we know where to press that neck.
Yeah.
Liverpool winning the war, but Forest won the battle.
Well, I think that's a better way of saying it at this point. But then again, I will probably still not agree with that one, because the battle here is not just against Liverpool. There's a bigger battle.
Yes.
So I think they've just won a fight against a team, But this team, they are winning the battle, which is Liverpool.
Well, the team that didn't win a battle yesterday was Manchester City, going up 2-0 against Brentford. And it all came falling apart, Clinton. 90th minute equalizer for Brentford. That's massive, especially because Chelsea, for a moment there, were also down, Alex, weren't they? And it was a time for City to make a move and potentially hop into the top 4. But it didn't happen, Clinton.
Well, Pep Guardiola, listen, I think whatever is going on with the wife, again, I'll still mention it, right? They should be winning that game yesterday. But I'm thinking maybe she texted him to say that there's a property that she needs to claim. And then he just forgot about the game, and somehow they were able to equalize. I don't understand what happened. I don't know how. It felt like Phil Foden pretty much ended the game and said, yo, this is our win. When I saw the 2 goals come from Phil Foden, and mind you, Phil Foden, from what the commentator said and by, all these stats, he's faced Brentford before and he had a hat-trick, and it was almost like a deja vu for him again. And when he left, I'm sure he was leaving the pitch thinking that, I've won the game for us, not knowing that there was some kind of almighty, whatever power it is, that was going to come on Brentford, and Brentford 2 goals. I can't lie to you, though. There were a few opportunities that I felt Brentford could have easily won the game. I mean, for those of you who watched the game, you could see that Brentford, what's his, what's the name of the guy that scored? Is it Wissa? Wissa. He should have had a lot of goals yesterday. At least he should have had a hat-trick.
I mean, he had 4 shots.
And they were
5 if you include a block shot.
I understand that, yeah, he's the all-time scorer now for Brentford, apart from Ivan Toney, who had the record. But when you look at that game, it's to tell you that he could even be more. He had the opportunities. Why was he not scoring them? Listen, they could have easily just taken that 3 points. Why would... I think because my man of the match yesterday, by the way, forget about the fact that Phil Foden had 2 goals. But Mbeumo, that guy is phenomenal, I feel like Ivan Toney leaving the team, I thought for him, I thought that was the end of Mbeumo. But the fact that Ivan Toney isn't there anymore, and this guy has literally decided to say, I'm going to carry this team by myself, and did all he did. He did everything to make sure they won the game.
Yeah.
Literally, he did. So he was practically the Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid during the El Clasico day, but for Brentford. But I felt like his team let him down. But then again, I don't want too much evil happening to Pep Guardiola. And I was just praying that he just ended the draw. There was an end-time attack that nearly went into the goal. That at that point, if it had happened, right, Pep Guardiola would have come to Barcelona. That house that he has moved out from, he's going to literally set that house ablaze out of anger from what could have happened if that thing went in. Look at his reaction to Ortega outside of when the game ended. You could clearly tell that, okay, at this point, if Pep Guardiola mistakenly wins the league this time, that would be the end of him being a coach. I see it happening, and I'm so sure of it.
Well, let's see. I don't know if they're going to be able to with them dropping points consistently.
Listen, we said it yesterday that we are still halfway into the season. There's still time.
Yep.
You could see that there's still so many shakes with other teams. I mean, look at Chelsea. Chelsea fans are beginning to believe that when the coach said we are not in the title race, he actually did mean it. He's definitely not in the title race. Chelsea, they are not very much ready. When you look at Liverpool, still struggling with, obviously, giving credit to Nottingham Forest, very good side at this point. I just feel like there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
If they really want to win that league. Arsenal, everybody knows they are Netflix. We can't even take that one away. There's nothing for them to fight for. They are just there to make people think that, there's some kind of competition in the Premier League, but nothing for Arsenal, right? Then which other team are we looking at again? I mean, Manchester United, we are not really a team at this point.
Forest.
No, let's just leave us. Forest, they are looking very solid. They look like a team that are capable, but I don't see them winning the Premier League. Top 4, definitely, but 100%, I don't see it happening for them. Which other team again?
Newcastle's up there.
Newcastle is the one I cannot believe, because when you look at the structure of that team, when you look at the setup, when you look at the caliber of players, you just know that these guys are warriors. I believe more in them than I even believe in a Manchester City at this point. Okay, but we are not going to rule out Manchester City. I still feel like they are still there, and let's wait. Maybe around March. We'll start having the serious conversations to know who definitely has the league and who doesn't have it.
Yeah. Let's finally wrap up Chelsea, because you were very impressed yesterday by Juan Semenyo for Bournemouth and the goal he had. We saw Reece James get back on the board for the Blues as well. Of course, Cole Palmer. And in the end, it was a draw. Alex, you've been saying it all season, like Maresca has said, but we're seeing a bit of, whether it's fatigue, catching up to Chelsea, though, and the dip in form they've had in the last few games.
Yeah, I think, and like you said, I've been saying it all season long, there are too many holes in this Chelsea team for them to be challenging for titles. And they're a good team. They've got some really good players in there, but they've got a long way to go before they can be, considered up there with the likes of Liverpool, Forest, even Arsenal and Newcastle in this conversation. I think Bournemouth have to be given a lot of credit, though. I think Bournemouth played very well. They managed to, I think, stop Chelsea's main targets. When you look at Cole Palmer, you look at the way that Chelsea try and attack. I think Bournemouth did really well to try and stem those attacks, and they managed to go 2-1 up. Semenyo is a bit of a romantic story, going from playing non-league football to Premier League. And I think, I said it yesterday as well, I think Chelsea were going to have a tough game against Bournemouth. And, Bournemouth should be taken seriously this season, because Andoni Iraola is doing a fantastic job there. And I think it will be lessons learnt for Chelsea. They've obviously recalled Trevor Chalobah today from Palace, so he'll be available for the next game, and I think that's probably one of the areas that I've been hampering on about Chelsea needing to improve on, and hopefully he can add something to that defence, because, I think lots to be done for Chelsea to be even considered a top 4 side at this moment, because they could drop out. If Newcastle win tonight, Chelsea 5th.
Lots of football left to be played. Clinton, Bournemouth are 1 point behind Manchester City as it stands. They're in 7th. with 34 points. Man City in 6th with 35 points. This is a massive season. We talk about teams like Nottingham Forest. We've spoken about Newcastle. Bournemouth has to be in the conversation considering what they're doing.
I mean, I think Bournemouth, the reason why we're not really speaking so much about them is it didn't start the season, right? They've been that solid team from, let's say the last 2-3 seasons, right? They are that team that we know that no matter what happens, they will never ever fall, let's say, into that relegation zone. Okay, they've been very solid. When you look at the caliber of players that they have, right? Semenyo is somebody whom I feel like we need to start having serious conversation about. When you look at the goal that he had against Chelsea, that left foot, look at the angle, look at how that thing went in. Personally, I thought that was juju. That was it's meant to be impossible. Like, who does that?
I think it was Robert Sanchez as well.
Listen, who would I give? Which kind of player would I give an example? If Haaland had scored that goal, his face would be all over all the papers in England to say, how the hell does somebody score such goal? But my man scored the goal and he was just calm, and everywhere feels very quiet because it's because of who has scored it and the team that this person has come from, right? But that goal, the quality of that goal is almost like a 9/10 type of goal. That's the kind of goal that if it was a woman, right, you should be scared to go ask her for a number, right? It's that kind of goal where, bruh, if he came from a Cristiano Ronaldo, his price tag should be having maybe an extra 100,000 on it already, But like I said, they're a very solid team. They are pretty much very good on the ball. They know how to distribute. They know how to press. They are very strong. You could see that Chelsea, you see how many changes that they kept on doing just to kind of see if... I felt really sad when Reece James scored that goal that meant that they equalized. And because I can't lie, at that point I wanted Bournemouth to win. For me, when I watch games, and these are not my teams, I always like the dark horses to come out victorious. And that's the reason why when I was watching Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, for me, I know everybody's like, yeah, Liverpool. I was just praying that Nottingham Forest would just repeat everything that happened again. If, say, maybe a Manchester City, they are playing some kind of Ipswich, a part of me is wishing that Ipswich should win, because the mind of an average person would be like, just put an over 3.5.
I think that's what we want to see, though, as football fans. For me, certainly, if I'm going into a game, and with all due respect, and I know Spurs fans won't thank me for saying this, but at the weekend I wanted Tamworth to win because it would be exciting to see Tamworth win.
Yeah.
Even Morecambe beating Chelsea. Imagine how much of a story that would have been in FA Cup folklore, and Salford City beating Manchester City.
Ooh la la.
Leyton Orient are playing Man City in the 4th round. These are the upsets that we live for. And I think when you get a club like Bournemouth doing so well, who not too long ago were on the brink of disappearing as a club. They were collecting money in buckets to try and raise enough money to keep the club afloat. And the job that Eddie Howe did to bring them up to the Premier League, and the job that now Andoni Iraola is doing, it's really impressive, and they're a very good model of a club to look at for those who do get promoted and want to stick around.
Absolutely. Well, 77% of you guys here watching on YouTube say that Nottingham Forest will in fact finish in a Champions League spot. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. Okay, let's quickly move on to the Serie A. We had Milan beating Como yesterday with Theo Hernandez and Rafael Leao getting on the board for the Rossoneri. And it was Hassan Leao, the young Spaniard, who made his debut and also scored for Como. Even though they lost, you have to appreciate what Cesc Fabregas has done with this side. But we'll move along to the big one here. Atalanta versus Juve end in a 1-1 draw. I think I predicted that.
I think all of us did say it was a draw.
I said
0-0. 0-0.
1-1.
I don't remember what you said.
I did say 1-1.
Well, Retegui scores again, 13 goals, leading the Serie A. Where was your boy?
So
I don't know. Wait,
best
because
left wingers in the world.
no, because I didn't watch the game, right? But because I think I started watching it from like 8-something minutes, and I felt like was he subbed off or something?
I don't remember if he was subbed because I switched
subbed
over.
off in the 80th minute.
Yeah.
The 80th minute. Okay, so that's probably the reason why I didn't see him. But now, fact is, listen. Let's be sincere with ourselves, right? Which winger would you tell me that has played football, that has played every single game to the level where everybody has expected? I mean, look at Vinicius, for example, whom we are putting as one of the best left wingers currently, right? He was subbed off at 66 minutes in the El Clasico. Why was that, right? Mbappe has been in Real Madrid for how many how many months? Like literally the first half of the season, everybody just kept on complaining that this was a wrong signing. Yeah, Luis Diaz, that we feel like he's had bad games. I've seen games where I'm like, wait, is this Luis Diaz? What is going on? Rafinha, on the other hand, you've seen games where you've been like, nah, this is not Rafinha's day. So I feel like footballers would always have one of those days where you'll be like, okay, this is just not your day. Everybody has it. So the fact that he's been subbed off at 80 minutes, it doesn't mean that maybe he's played badly or anything. Did they lose the game? They didn't lose the game. It was a draw. It was a 1 point in the bag. So
I think the worry for me for Atalanta is at this stage, and we were talking about this, Sara, is Inter Milan have 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
If they win those 2, they go 2 points ahead of Napoli, and we slowly start to see the top 2 drift away and take control of the league, and it will just end up becoming a 2-horse race. And Atalanta, if they want to be considered in that title race come the end of the season, they have to be. Juventus are a good team. They're a well set up team. They know how to defend well. But I think some of the results that they've had in the last few games, you look at the Udinese game, those are the games that you should be winning if you want to consider yourself title challengers.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw they lost to Inter in the Supercoppa Italiana. Obviously, they still have Champions League. I don't think they're going to have it in the Serie A. I'm also worried about Napoli with Kvaratskhelia obviously going to PSG. We'll talk about that closer to the end of the show and some transfers. But I don't think they're going to do it in the Serie A. So that means they have the Coppa Italia, which is kind of like a one-off. Like it's hard to say who could win that. Could be theirs. And then the Champions League. But I think the thing is, we spoke about this yesterday, in that this game was really important for them to get the win because they're also playing Napoli this weekend. So we have to see. But it does concern me with Inter having 2 games in hand. But as always, we keep eyes on Atalanta and our boy Ademola Lookman. But let's talk about a match happening today, shall we? It's the North London Derby. And somehow we don't have Gary Smith here.
Connection issues.
Connection issues. I don't know if that means maybe he has a bit of a gut-wrenching feeling about this one. But we do have a special guest joining us. It's Noah Zemmel, journalist for Sleeper Football, who will actually be giving us a bit of a Spursy opinion. Noah, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
How are you feeling ahead of this? Are you feeling a bit nervous? Are you feeling confident?
I don't think I have ever felt confident watching Tottenham play Arsenal. I don't think any Spurs fan ever has. I think that's just the natural feeling. But it's a good time to play them. It's not... They're a team littered with injuries, but the problem being Tottenham have so many more. I've not seen it reported as much in the papers or anywhere really, but we're missing Vicario, Forster, our entire back line. And the problem with that as well, I mean, we're missing Richarlison and Werner, but I'm not too fussed about missing either of them. They're not going to make an impact anyway, so I'm more than happy for them to miss out. But yeah, I mean, Tottenham haven't won at the Emirates they've won twice out of 33 games in the Premier League. I mean, I can never be confident going into that game, and especially after. Sorry to upset you, Alex. I know we did beat Tamworth in the end. But, I mean, it took us 120 minutes to beat a National League side. I can't be confident going into this game.
Is it confirmed that Friedrich Forster is out for this one? Because I was hearing rumours that he actually might be returning from illness.
He might be back from illness, but he definitely won't start this game. It'll be our new signing, Antonin Kinski, who
not a bad signing, by the way.
He's been superb. I mean, I must admit, I'd never heard of him in my life. But watching him play the last 2 games, I mean, he's better than Raya. He picks a pass out anywhere on the pitch. He's kept 2 clean sheets, which we very rarely do at the minute. And he's got an 18-year-old centre-back who isn't a centre-back in Archie Gray playing in front of him. And we don't look like conceding at the minute. And especially seeing as Arsenal can't score goals either at the minute. Maybe there's hope. Maybe I'm convincing myself that we've got a chance.
Clinton, it is probably a good time to play Arsenal because we know that they lost to Newcastle at home. They lost to Manchester United at home. Yes, Spurs may have some more injuries, but we also know Arsenal have some very crucial injuries as well.
Well, the truth is, I've always said it so many times, regarding Spurs. They are that team that you never know what you get from them, right?
Spurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they decide to turn up, fact is Arsenal, they would suffer. Now, if they decide to slip off, Arsenal, they would have a Christmas day all over again, and we just don't know. The fact is, Spurs, they have the caliber of players that should be winning or beating a deformed Arsenal at this point. But the question is, what Spurs do you get today? That's what we would never know, right? I mean, you see Spurs having to battle for a goal, playing, what's the name of the team? I can't even remember the name of the team.
Tamworth.
Right, I mean, this is a team that if I put up 11 of us in this office, we might be able to beat. This is the team that...
I wouldn't go that far.
What do you mean you can't go that far? Alex, come on, man, I've seen you in goal. Bro, look at your height alone, man. Come on, Jesus Christ. Sarah, on the left wing, she can do 1 or 2 passes. My man Noah, I don't know his level of play from the way he sounds. I can tell you that he can shout at a couple of people on the pitch and coordinate 1 or 2. Like, bro. So, fact is, we don't know what... Listen, if Spurs want to play football, they play good football. They have the quality. When you look at the fact that they have one of the best, like I said, it's just somebody we don't mention a lot. I don't know why, but Son is literally a world-class winger, right? Yes, I understand that he did mention that he doesn't rate Richarlison, but fact is, he's a good footballer when he's on form. But the question is, when
is he on form?
Exactly, I know. Obviously, it's going to come to that. But listen, they are playing against a vulnerable team today, okay? And if they are able to step up their game, I believe they should be having a win over Arsenal.
So the ball is completely in Spurs' court, is what you're saying.
No, facts. That is what it is. If they decide to wake up, Arsenal will suffer again today.
Okay.
And there's a very high possibility that they could win.
Noah, Clinton mentioned Son and him being a world-class player, but can you talk to us a little bit about Kulusevski and the season he's had? Because I think he's going a little bit unnoticed, and in all fairness, it's probably because he is a Spurs player. But he has the 3rd most dribbles in the top 7 leagues in all of Europe, just behind Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. I mean, he's brilliant.
He's been absolutely extraordinary. He's had an unbelievable season. He's shifted further into central midfield, which is the position that he prefers to play. And like you said, we've seen these things like progressive carries, the amount of dribbles he's made and chances created are insanely high. And you only need to sort of have the sort of eye test and look at how he's playing to see how important he's been to everything that we do. He gets a little bit lost when he plays out on the right wing at the minute. And unfortunately, I think we'll see him on the right wing tonight. But when he drifts inside, you can't take the ball off him, and he just creates so many chances. He's a really, really special talent, and I just am fingers crossed that Pep Guardiola stays away from him in his Man City rebuild.
Alex, you put together a little combined 11 between Arsenal and Spurs players that are currently fit today.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to see what it is. Then I also want to get Noah's opinion on it, because I'm sure there might be a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, I think I got berated by a few people saying, how have you not put Van der Ven in there, but he's not fit, so I didn't include him in this conversation. But yeah, I think when I looked at this 11 and how I could get both players or both sets of players in there, I was surprised how many Spurs players I did pick. I think probably because of the injuries, I leant towards more, especially when I'm looking at Jed Spence in that left-back position, how, obviously a youthful player and playing very well at the moment on good form. But when you look at some of the players in that top 3 that Arsenal have that have really been underperforming, and I think it was quite an easy decision in some ways for me to go for that all Spurs front 3. I did go for an all Arsenal midfield 3, I think. So yeah, I think when you look at how both teams find themselves at the moment with the injuries and the situation that both sets of players are in with the form, it's a difficult decision, actually, and it did take me a while to come together to a full 11.
Yeah, let's try and get that up if we can, that graphic. But you have David Raya in between the sticks. You've gone for Jed Spence, Gabriel, Saliba, and Pedro Porro. And then a midfield of all Arsenal players, Declan Rice, Jorginho, Martin Odegaard. And up front, all Spurs players, Sonny, Solanke, and Kulusevski.
Do we have this on the screen?
I've asked for it. We're waiting. What do you make of that, Noah? Are you happy that the front 3 of the Spurs have gotten in there? Are there any changes you would make for players that are available for either side right now?
Yes, I'm actually very surprised that Alex picked so many Tottenham players in that team as well. He's been very generous by the fact that saying players are picking only fit players, because when Arsenal have their full strength team, it is much more difficult for our players to get in that side. But David Raya probably does start in goal. think you go with, but you obviously go with both centre backs. We don't have any fit centre backs at the minute. I like Timber. I don't know if Timber's fit for today, but I would have him over Jed Spence. For me, Yves Bissouma would get in that midfield over Jorginho. I think Yves Bissouma is really underrated when the amount of ground that he covers. It's so important for Spurs. But the problem being, Clinton said earlier, as with most Spurs players and us in general, you never know what player is going to turn up. Sometimes Yves Bissouma turns up and is utterly incredible, and other times he's completely anonymous on the pitch. So
yeah.
sometimes he's that kind of player, but the amount of ground he covers on a good day is so important to our team, especially because we're so attacking and we leave our defence so bare, that I would have Yves Bissouma in over Jorginho and Timber in over Spence. But I love a full Tottenham front three.
No shout for James Maddison, sorry?
This was the one hard one. I got a bit of stick for this from our producer, Ben. He said, do you want to change around the positions and perhaps put in an option of Maddison or Jorginho? But I went with Odegaard or Maddison, and it came to Odegaard. So, unfortunately, I do think Maddison probably deserves... I would put Maddison in there over Jorginho, but I think if it came down to the choice of Odegaard or Maddison, I'd go for Odegaard.
Wasn't it Odegaard, rather Maddison or Rice, both playing on that side?
I think you could definitely say that as well, and I think that's probably what's the difficult thing about this, is they're so interchangeable, that midfield three, and quite versatile. We've seen Rice in a number of different positions, both for England and Arsenal, and Odegaard as well, and he's taken a bit of the onus with Saka now being injured. He's that focal point of the attack, and yeah, it's a difficult one. And
to be honest, for me, I don't know how it's going to work, but I would easily just take out Jorginho from there. Maddison is definitely probably move Rice to come to the middle and have Maddison on the left, easy stuff. But Jorginho there over Maddison.
Well, the direct choice was Bissouma or Jorginho, and I went for Jorginho.
But I would still take Bissouma.
No.
I mean, it's a toss-up. To be honest, I was very close to going for Bissouma as well, but Jorginho just picked it.
Do you know what we should have done? We should have done your starting 11 for the current squad, and then a starting 11 for if everyone was fit.
Yeah, I mean,
and put them beside each other.
I think it would look a little bit different. To be honest, I think the front three might stay...
Are you insane, Bukayo Saka?
Might stay mostly the same, apart from Bukayo Saka. Yes, I think...
Sorry, Noah, but...
I think Kai Havertz...
It's fair enough.
I'd take Solanke over Kai Havertz as an out-and-out striker, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I really like Solanke as a player. I think he's a very good striker, and Son goes without saying he's in that squad, no matter who's on that left-hand side.
I don't think in 20 years' time, no matter how much training Havertz will do, he will never come close to Solanke.
No.
There's just so much that man does. Listen, that guy's... This is the reason why I feel like it depends on what version of Tottenham does turn up. That Solanke, I would easily match him. I don't know who I would raise him. Like, if I want, I don't want to say Haaland, but my man, we look at his
No, he's
whole
brilliant.
play.
There's
Bro,
no one
that guy's mad.
Arsenal that are getting
Jesus
in over
Christ.
him. Definitely
I mean,
not.
that I've said it countless times. That is the one thing about Arsenal that they are lacking. Well, not the one thing, but one of the main things that they are lacking. And we saw today that apparently they aren't afraid to spend money, whether that be in this window or in the summer. And looking at a certain Victor Gyökeres at Sporting Club de Portugal. So
I really want it. I want them to be an exciting club. I want them to take a risk and actually do something and spend the money. I'm sure, Noah, you're not happy to hear this, but I would love an Alexander Isak or a Gyökeres coming into Arsenal, because they need
there's even a Mexican forward called Oscar. Right? Bro, I would take him over Havertz right now. Facts. Because at the end of the day, you need to consider the size as well. Like, the whole hold play and all these things. Like, anyways. Bro, no, Havertz should get out, man.
No, I want to ask you, if Spurs continue this kind of flip-flop season that they're having yet again and don't win a trophy yet again, do you think that it will be time for Ange to say farewell?
I think it's a difficult one to... The answer is probably yes. But I think that you have to keep him in the job, because the problem is the common denominator is Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy and the owners, they're not spending money. They haven't spent money for years. And if we change managers, as much as not winning a trophy, and our form is terrible at the minute, if we don't win a trophy, that's a big problem for Ange. But we'll just be starting again with a new manager and end up back in this same position in 2 years. At least if we hold on to the same manager, then we can show that the common denominator is the board, that there is this overall problem at the club that needs to be sorted out, and changing a manager quickly, it's not a solution.
I actually don't think the problem is even a manager.
No.
I think Ange is a very good manager.
Yeah.
At this point, I think it's just the players. Maybe we'll say this, but because when you look at his first season with Tottenham, I mean, he was the guy we felt like.
Whiskers away from top 4.
No, well, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't. Me,
They
I
actually
was scared. I'm like, wait, who is this man? Like, where does he come from?
I mean, they're an exciting team to watch. I think the one game that stands out to me, and I'm interested to see what you think about this now, and I think we talked about this at the time, the Chelsea game where Tottenham had 2 men sent off and continued to play that exciting attacking football, and perhaps some people would berate him for saying, why are you continuing like that? Why are you carrying on? Be sensible and avoid the damage limitation. But I think that's what you get with Ange. It's rock and roll football, isn't it?
It is rock and roll football, but there's almost sort of this misconception about Ange Postecoglou, because you saw against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, we weren't all out flying up trying to do everything to score. We were holding in 2 banks of 4, defending sensibly, and we went and nicked a counter-attacking goal and won the game. That game against Chelsea last year, I loved that, because when you get 2 men sent off, you're never going to win the game. It doesn't matter if you win the game 1-0 or 4-1 at that point. I mean, a loss is a loss. At least we've got to watch ourselves really come really close to equalising. And for the fans that were at the ground, I'm sure they enjoyed it more. The problem being that when we can be so all-out attacking, the media come against Ange Postecoglou and Spurs, and it's such an easy thing to beat him with that it becomes, the pressure isn't added from the fans, the pressure is added from the media, and it just piles up and piles up.
Clinton, you said it's also the players, though, but I think something that while Ange has been in charge of Spurs that we kind of forget is the amount of injuries Spurs have constantly had in every season. The last 2 seasons rather, but they have no bench and core. Davies, Guti Romero, Udogi, Mickey, Vicario, Forrester, we don't know, maybe he's back, Timo Werner. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about starters.
They've been so unlucky.
They've been so unlucky. So do you think like that must play a factor here?
No, I mean, definitely. I don't think when it comes to injury, there's no team that would say it doesn't affect them, right? It's not even about it's not even the injury list. Just one injury can affect a whole team. I mean, when you look at Manchester City, I understand that there are people who would say, it's not just Rodri that's made the team crumble. But fact is, 1 player could change a lot. 2 players could change. 3 players could even do more damage. 4 players. Now, when you look at the injury list you've just mentioned, and you're talking about starters here, there's no way it's not going to affect them. So that's why sometimes I would say it's not that you can't blame manager.
Yeah.
Right? You look at those injury lists and look at the key players that are not. I mean, look at Arsenal today, right? Saka is not there. Now, the heat doesn't come from the right as much as they would, because the truth is everybody understands how crazy that man can be from the right. There's just something special about him, right? He always gets the ball into the 80-yard box. He just doesn't get it in there. He scores the goals to you. You don't know when he's going to score or when he's going to lay the passes. This is what you get from a player. When you look at the relationship between Odegaard and Saka, I said that if a relationship between a man and a woman was the kind of relationship Odegaard and Saka have, there is nothing that can crumble that kind of relationship in life. They would literally grow old together, like Jack and Rose in Titanic, 100%. But
they didn't grow old together, did they?
I mean, one of them died trying to save the other one because he was a fool, trying to save a woman. But anyways, let's not go into all of that.
Well, here we have our resident Arsenal fan, Mr. Gary L. Smith has joined us. Noah, before we let you go, I'd like you to stay on for a bit while we have our Arsenal fan here. Gary, Noah, rivals. Listen, Gary, how are you feeling ahead of this one? I think you're on mute still.
He's lost for words.
No, I'm not on mute, but this is not the time, the best time to be facing a fluky Spurs. This is not the best time to be facing a fluky Spurs because I think there was a game where I think it was Clinton who said, you don't know what Spurs is going to show up. They're either going to beat you properly or they're going to offer up a stinker, So, yeah, hopefully it's the stinker Spurs we are going to meet today.
Gary, wasn't it you that we were talking during the, was it the Wolves match?
Yeah.
Spursy? It could
Spursy!
be. Spursy. It could be the day. Honestly, the more and more.
It was before that match you were saying. It was before that match you were saying that, like, any Spurs could show up and then they went up and did what they did against, Yeah.
I think the more and more we're talking about this, the more and more I'm actually personally starting to lean towards a Spurs win, just because I think you're right. Like, I think they're going to give it all they have. It's obviously their biggest rival. This massive match in the Prem. It's Arsenal at home. They're going to want to do it in their rival's house. We know Arsenal haven't won their last 2 matches at home. Like, I don't know. I don't want to jinx it, Noah. But I'm just saying, I kind of am, the more and more we're talking about it, I'm starting to feel like this is the best time for Spurs to play Arsenal, like Gary's saying.
I don't think there is ever a good time for Spurs to play Arsenal at the Emirates. I think this might be the one time where neither Spurs or Arsenal fans are confident going into this game, and everyone is just praying for a really quick 90 minutes. 90 minutes, full-time whistle. Yeah, I can switch off my phone. I can go to bed, and hopefully I can go to bed smiling.
Guys, before I let Noah go, Noah, we'll start with you. Can I get a score prediction for this match?
2-1.
Okay, well, we know Gary's won 2-1 Arsenal, and Noah?
I'm going to have to go with the same. I'm going to say 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Okay. Ashmore?
Oh, I'm going to go with 1-1.
I was going to say a draw will just kill them both.
1-0.
Clinton?
This is a very tough one,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think, listen, this is the kind of game where I have to consult the gods, okay? I have to then, because sometimes
Are you hearing anything?
No, I mean, that's the thing I'm trying to hear because, this headphones is not, this earpiece is too loud. I'm hearing the score, but is kind of like buzzing a bit. It's a very tough one, because these are 2 lame teams.
Oh.
I mean, these are 2 problematic teams.
I mean,
Noah, sorry. I mean, especially knowing that this is my son's namesake, and I feel really sad for him, at the same time. I see a... Oh, man, this is a difficult one. Trust me. I'm definitely seeing goals in the game. Mm-hmm. And these goals are not outright goals. These are goals that are probably like mistakes from, some kind of defensive errors. This is what I'm seeing because I'm seeing it HD 4K view. One of them 4K.
You don't say.
You have to click. You have to click it and then hold it and then load in 4K. Yeah. Right? I'm seeing it very clear. Right. Now I'm seeing it 3-1, but I don't know who is winning on this one though.
3-1.
Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy is I was going to say 3-1 to Spurs.
Oh, no. Listen. I mean, I am seeing it 3-1 to Spurs, right? But
no,
I just want to leave it at 3-1. I don't know who the 3 is going to be for, but just leave it.
I feel like this game could go anyway. It could be 3-1 to either side. It could be a 0-0. It could be a draw. Like,
that's the problem.
This game is maybe one of the hardest games we've ever had to give a prediction for.
Definitely.
So, I don't know. We'll see. But listen, Noah, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck tonight. And I won't say it in front of Gary, but hopefully it goes your way. Gary,
No.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Noah. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Pray for us.
No luck.
Gary, you are not having that. Not today.
Not today. We can't be wishing them luck today. We can't be wishing them luck today.
All right, well, we'll see where it goes, guys. It's an interesting one. I don't think any of us have a notion with this one. That's how difficult this match is. So we'll come again tomorrow, and we'll see. Maybe Gary will be here, maybe he won't, depending on the result. Who knows? But let's move along, because we have some other Premier League action. We have Newcastle and Wolves going head-to-head here. Alex, Newcastle, winning their last 8 matches across all competitions. Clinton Alexander-Isak has 13 goals, 9 in the last 6 matches. The man is on fire. Gary is targeting him, wishing. And we know that Wolves are not so great right now. Clinton, you seeing a Newcastle win here?
Definitely see a Newcastle win.
A confident
Like
Newcastle win.
I mean, this is those ones I would tell you, go to SportyBet. Don't even put over 4 point something. Just outright Newcastle win. Like, I'm that confident on this one. Listen, Wolves, I don't even know why they still call themselves wolf. They should be calling themselves sheep or goats, like some lower animal. Because when you hear the word wolf, you should be thinking about some team who are going to come. Sorry?
Goat is greatest of all time. It's not,
no. Okay, no, let's not use goat. Let's call them chicken, please. Right?
Chicken.
Because I don't know. I don't see them being the wolf that we used to know a couple of seasons ago.
No, definitely not.
There's the wolves we used to know that this kind of game, you could literally say they might not give you like a 3-4-0 win or whatever, but you know it might end like a 1-0. But this wolf that we have now, you don't even have any confidence that they would win a game, right? And you are facing an unformed Newcastle that have all these beasts flowing. Listen, we have a guy who we are now trying to say he's worth more than 150 million as a striker, right? Isak? I mean, do we agree with that?
Yeah.
And
150 million? Oh.
I mean,
just a bit lower, please.
No, but listen, Gary. You know something.
I mean, his good is on fire.
No,
his good is on
Gary.
fire.
Gary.
150 million is.
Gary, hold on.
150 million is KlintonCod. Like, it's KlintonCod who costs 150 million.
If Christopher Nkunku's 65, then you know what I mean.
No, but are we going to compare Christopher Nkunku to who is Nkunku though?
But that's exactly my point. That's why.
Okay. No. Well, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. 100%. Like for me, and if you consider the fact that you have midfielders like Caicedo coming into Chelsea, how many seasons has he been in Chelsea now? Two seasons, right?
2 or 3, I think. Yeah.
Right. And how much? It was 100 million, right? As at 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago. So why would an Isak, who is now on the best form of his life in a Premier League, why should he not be worth it? Like, for me, when we look at the market, right, of course, England overinflate all these cash on players because of the market, like Gary would say. So if we want to go by what they do in the market right now, Isak should be worth 150 million, whether we like it or not, from his performance. And
I mean, it's a buyer's market. It's a seller's and buyer's market, so you're not wrong.
This is like, literally, Anthony Gordon right now could easily go for like 80 million. Let's be sincere with ourselves. No, when you look at this market right now.
In British. I mean,
you see, so for me, facing a wolf is an easy. That match I'm not going to watch it because I pretty much know the score, right? The match I'm looking at watching right now is the one we've been battling here, trying to think about the score. That's the one I would love to go see.
Never know
what will happen. But Newcastle facing the wolf, come on, I don't even need to spend too much time.
All right, well, we have Everton taking on Aston Villa. John Duran back in the lineup for this one as he was away for suspension in the last one. But what's interesting here is that David Moyes is in action with Everton. Again, new manager bounce. Alex, you know, it's at Goodison Park. Do you think that they could get a point here against Aston Villa? We know what Aston Villa is capable of. We know what it's like to have the new managerial motivation. Moyes back at Everton. There's a bit of a story there.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they can. And you look at Aston Villa's form in the last 10 games, they've been a little bit inconsistent. You know, they've won the last 2, but then lost to Brighton, drew with Brighton, lost to Newcastle, lost to Forest, lost to Chelsea. They've got wins against City, Brentford and Southampton in there. But I think when you look at this Villa team, they do have the potential and the quality players to get results. But this is David Moyes we're talking about. He's back at Everton, his first game in charge. He would have, from the moment he arrived to his office, he would have been out there on that training pitch berating these Everton players, getting them into line, getting them into the shape that he wants them to play. And I have an inkling that Everton might pull off a result here, and I'm going to go 2-1 Everton.
Nice. I think if you want to maybe give a little sprinkle, if you are a betting man or woman at SportyBet, this might be the one too, because obviously they're not going to be the favorites tonight. But whenever there's a new manager, there's always a little bit of uncertainty. So It could be. We'll see. We'll see. I know Clinton's going to be wanting John Duran to be making some noise again, and he could. But will they get the result? Time will tell. We have Leicester also taking on Crystal Palace in the Prem tonight, so we'll see where that ends off. Finally, let's wrap up Barcelona in action. Clinton, back at home. They've lost their last 3 games at home, as you know. Leganés, Las Palmas, and Atletico Madrid. Now they're back from the Clásico after that win. This is Copa del Rey, obviously not La Liga. What is your feeling with Barcelona going up against Real Betis in a Copa del Rey? It's a one-off game, let's remember that.
Well, I mean, firstly, you need to look at the spirit they are currently in, coming from beating Real Madrid. And I'm not sure they are letting that win get into their head, maybe by going to party or doing whatever it is. I understand that they're in a very happy mood, because at the end, it wasn't just about them, getting that cup. It was more of the team that they've beat, which is now seeming like a regular thing for them, right?
Yeah.
And we know what Barcelona are. Barcelona, they are, that, like we said, they would beat Real Madrid. They'll probably beat Liverpool. Who knows? Like, I'm just giving an example. We've not seen any game recently, but they could beat this really high, and then they will go lose to Leganés, which is usually very, very weird. But I just want to say that, judging by the kind of game that they had against Real Madrid, which only just happened recently in Saudi, they are probably going to go into the same spirit. Now, Barcelona, they are probably the top 5 team in Europe as we speak. Yeah, I don't know if top 5 is the. I'm sure if I ask you,
who's your top 5? Quickly.
That's a very hard one. I mean, Liverpool comes in, right?
Okay, Liverpool.
Nottingham Forest definitely gets in there.
Okay,
Sorry.
fine. That's fine. You said Barcelona.
But no, yeah, definitely Barcelona gets in there.
Okay, 2 more spaces.
Now,
Brest?
I mean, I like Brest, yeah, but let's go for us. In as much as us, they are losing a few.
Why did you do this?
It wasn't me. It was.
I asked him a question. They're doing
You know what you did. You know what you did.
You know what you did there, Alex. Don't even go there.
Bayern Munich, did they get in that?
Bayern Munich, they're definitely not getting there for me.
Napoli?
Arsenal.
Napoli definitely not getting there. I'll
Inter Milan?
probably have Atalanta there.
But
Yeah.
So you'd have
Atalanta
a
or
team
Inter
that's
Milan?
lower than Napoli.
Sorry?
You'd have a team that's lower than Napoli. in that
Atalanta
top 5.
over Inter Milan and Napoli?
I mean, there's for me, there's a reason for it, and that's just my biased self going with my boy. So you understand now. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. If I'm just taking it because if I want to watch them play, if I had to choose 5 teams, I would love to watch my guy because I just love how he plays. Do you see it? Now, Real Madrid are probably getting in there too, just for Kylian Mbappe.
how many teams are you naming here?
I've just given you 5 now.
What were the 5?
He's giving 6.
Liverpool,
Sorry?
Liverpool, Forest,
Nottingham
Barcelona, Real Madrid,
Barcelona,
and
Madrid.
Atalanta.
Yeah.
Okay, those are your 5.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll see. Yeah, so Barcelona, are they going to win tonight?
I believe they should win tonight.
Alex, do they have enough to beat Betis?
I think they will. And coming off the high of the Super Cup win in the week, or at the weekend even, it feels I've lost track of the days here. But I think perhaps one thing that goes in Betis' favour is the fact that Barcelona have had to travel back from Saudi Arabia and
Sure.
they've only had 2 days to recover and prepare for the game. They have that short time frame, so potentially Betis could pull off a result, but I can't see it happening, to be honest.
All right, well, again, we will see more Copa del Rey action tomorrow as well. Real Madrid in action.
The question you just asked me, though, can I throw that question back to you guys as well?
Yeah, we got to go.
Yep. Oh,
Barcelona's going to win. There you go. Oh, the top 5?
Yeah.
I'll bring it back tomorrow. We'll go over Gary, Alex, and myself's top 5 teams in Europe as it stands. We'll bring it back tomorrow because that is a good one. We'll get into that. Gary, we're wishing you all the best tonight. We really are. You got to stand with Gary, stand
Gary.
with Sporty FM.
Yeah, please make sure you have some kind of high blood pressure machine with, bottle of water and stuff, Please, very, very important, man. Because we need you for Sporty FM. It's very, it's a very new project and you need to be alive for that one. Please.
All right, guys. Well, as I mentioned off the top of the show, later tonight on Sporty TV, we have Bayern Munich taking on Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga, so stay tuned for that. We'll be back again tomorrow discussing our top 5 clubs in Europe, Real Madrid in action in the Copa del Rey, previewing all the weekend with the Premier League back in action. So stay tuned for us tomorrow. We'll be back same time, same place. But until then, as always, enjoy the football.
Ebwe. Tete. Toof. Boo! Let go.
Aguero!